All right, y'all. According to Mario, we all do witchcraft. Every single one of us. We are all actively involved in witchcraft on a daily basis. Now, this is according to Mario. This is what he just said. And I think that this is extremely interesting. Now, how come this conversation is even coming up in the first place? Well, you remember just last month, Mario was on Cenat's stream because Kai was doing the whole subathon, and he brought every crystal on the face of planet Earth with him in the form of a staff. And he was walking around with this staff telling Cenat that it gives him positive energy. And he also said that it got him out of a very dark place in Hollywood. So he had a whole testimony revolving around these crystals, right? Now, this obviously had a lot of people saying like, yo, Mario, that's witchcraft. That's demonic. That's not of God, brother. A lot of people were saying that. And apparently Mario heard and he listened. And now he's giving a response. All right, let's take a listen.
When you say witchcraft, do I don't think people critically think about how much witchcraft and what witchcraft actually represents and what it means, right? When you say it to a person who understands occult knowledge, and when I say that, I just mean the things that most people don't study, right? That's something that means you practice certain rituals based on intentions that have certain outcomes. Mm-hmm. You want to call it witchcraft? Cool. You want to call it spirituality? Cool. But I think that when people say, oh, that's witchcraft, it's because they don't understand that they also are involved in witchcraft and don't even know it in life. People performing on them. Commercials performing on you. There's so much going on that people don't understand. I'm a person who like to bring things to the light slowly, and I don't mind people judging it what they don't understand. It's fine. I'm here. I'm a teacher. I'm a student and a teacher at the same time. So what you saw me carrying was a staff with a bunch of crystals on it that all work to both protect, emit, pull in, and ground energy. So it's about 16 different crystals I had on the staff. All of them have different purposes, and so. At the top, I think I have an amethyst at the top and a quartz at the bottom, or vice versa. So quartz is magnifies energy. There's quartz crystals in your phones. There's crystals in computers. Why? Because they're used as a conduit, right? They have some copper on there as well. Copper is what ancient Egyptians used to also ground energy and to protect and keep the energy flowing through their body. Then you have amethyst, which is a protection stone and cleansing stone. You have hematite and citrine and pyrite. Pyrite came from a meteorite that hit the planet over 50 million years ago. So pyrite represents vitality and movement. And also Mercury, which is what I have tatted right here. A lot of people are like, oh, you got devil horns on your neck. That's not devil horns. It's the symbol Mercury. And Mercury represents communication and creativity. So a lot of the things that I do is based on intention and based on, it helps me to keep my energy protected, but it also helps me to keep things moving. Because there's a lot of energy that's moving around us that we can't see every day. Right? So I believe in that. I've been studying that and I've been moving like that. And I feel like it keeps me, it just keeps me protected and grounded and keeps me in the right space, bro. That's why I brought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ain't got it with you right now, dude.
I don't travel with it.
Okay.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
It's amazing, bro. It's truly amazing, bro. And I would say this to people: if you're ever unsure about something, just do your research. Do your research, because what you'll find is that there may be something that you connect with and you be like, let me try this for myself, and it may be something that works for you. It helps you in life, and you'll be surprised what our ancestors were into, how they were protecting themselves during times of the dark ages, and how they were praying and what they were praying to and how they were getting supported in a lot of ways. Like, we can't be scared of the knowledge that's actually ours and for us. That's what I will say. We obviously, when I grew up, everything was fearful. Everything was like, don't do that, you're going to go to hell. Don't brush my feet with the spoon. Spit on the broom. Like,
don't split the pole.
Don't split the pole. You give power to these things. Like, what are you giving it power for? It's just like, you gotta take the power back into your own hands. We have to do that, because I'm going to say this. There's a lot of witchcraft. Because witchcraft can be both good and bad. There's a lot of witchcraft that's performed on our people and we don't even know it. But because we're scared of it, we won't even study it to understand how to undo shit that's been done. Mm-hmm. And I'm the opposite. I grew up in that mindset, and then when I was 23, I became a mystic, and I started practicing the opposite way, and it's been changing my life ever since. And I promise you, in 10 years from now, you're going to look and see the same person and be like, how the fuck is he doing that? So if you want to say it's witchcraft, say it's witchcraft. But if you want to say it's a person who understands and studies, then that's I think that's the right way to go about it.
Okay. Last thing, what is a mystic?
Basic.
Yo, that's a great question. I'm over here trying to think of like, what is he talking about when he a mystic? I was about to do a Google search, so this is even better. What is a mystic? Because you somebody who studies. So I want to know. And by the way, it sounds good, right? It sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds good. It sounds good. What were we just talking about yesterday, right? The heart is an idol factory. The heart is an idol factory. If you leave your heart unchecked, your heart will create so many different idols to replace whatever it is that you are seeking to fill any and every void that you have in your life. And then you take a step back and you realize like, oh, wow, when I'm sad, I go and do this. When I'm happy, I go and do this. When I'm anxious, I got this. When I'm depressed, I got this. When I'm unsure, I do this. You have so many different idols in your life and you don't even realize that they're idols. This is what happens when you leave your heart unchecked. What do I mean by unchecked? When you don't submit to God, Jesus, when you do not submit and give your life to Jesus and allow God to lead you and to guide you and to be your healer, your protector, your provider. When you don't do that, then you create all these idols. You create all these false gods and you start to worship them. He's talking about from the standpoint of like, hey, these are naturally occurring elements on this earth that have real attributes and real benefits. Listen, I'm not here to dispute the validity of those claims. I don't know if that's true or not. But hey, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe those crystals that you're talking about, maybe they actually do have actual, proven benefits in some capacity. Maybe they do. But that does not mean that you should turn to those crystals as your means for protection or for healing or for insight, for wisdom, for positivity, for joy. You shouldn't be turning to creation to give you discernment. Ultimate discernment, that is. You should be going to the Creator, the one who made everything. So that's my argument that I'm making here. That's the case that I want to make. But it sounds like he had some sort of experience in the church. He had some sort of trauma to where, as he said out of his own mouth, don't do that because you're going to go to hell, right? So it sounds like he had some sort of trauma in the church, as many of us have experienced. And that's often the root of why people seek these alternatives, because they have trauma, which is distributed to them by people, not by God. The trauma was not handed to you by God. The trauma that you have with the church, with God, was given to you by a human being who is flawed, a human being who was not a proper representative of the true heart of Jesus Christ. But now you take that trauma that human being gave to you and you attribute that trauma to God, meaning you think it came from God. So now you're in this state of constant rebellion against God. And now you're looking to find some sort of solution that can give you spiritual healing and spiritual protection and spiritual discernment and spiritual wisdom apart from God. Does that make sense? Anyway, what is a mystic?
A person who studies the unknown, knowledges of existence. I don't have any type of association with any religious cult or group.
Oh, okay.
I'm a mystic. So I study a little bit of everything.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and it's been very helpful for me to understand how to navigate myself through this realm. Yeah. So yeah. There's not an occult that I could come in contact with and not understand what the intentions are. I know it when I see it. I know them when I see them, and we recognize what it is.
I appreciate that.
For sure, bro. Yes, sir.
So he studies everything, every religion. He studies every belief system. And, you know, it's the cherry pick type of vibe. I'm a cherry pick what I like, and I'm going to leave out the rest. So exactly what I just said. The human heart is an idol factory. Apart from God, humans will create their own gods, and they will serve, bow down, and worship those gods. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. And oftentimes, when we are operating apart from God, the beliefs that we are choosing to cherry pick from different religions are the ones that ultimately serve our flesh and keep us in bondage and keep us rooted in this cycle of pride. So we're always in this cycle of pride, and we're blind to the fact that we are actively participating in the destruction of our spirit. We are actively paving our own road to hell. And listen, that's just that. It just is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. You are hardening your heart. You are participating in the process of hardening your heart, thus making it harder for you to hear from God, the true living God. Listen, maybe the crystals gave you some energy. Maybe the crystals made you feel good. I don't know. Maybe it did. I really don't know. I think it's all placebo. If you're going to ask me, you want me to be honest with you, I think it's just like a placebo effect. But maybe they really do have some real type of, elements that help. Like similar to like naturally occurring like medications and herbs and stuff like that. Maybe they do. But even if they do, that should not be your ultimate source of direction, of discernment, of protection. Because when that happens, you're going down the wrong path. And that's my argument. But once again, humans, we have free will. You can do whatever you want. If you want to serve the crystals, if you want to bow down to the staff of crystals, and that's what you want to do, that's what you want to put your faith in, you have free will to do that. But I would advise that you go to the one that created it in the first place. Like, God is the creator of all things. He has the ultimate perfect knowledge of everything. God doesn't need to do a Google search. He doesn't need to sit in a, through a lecture. He doesn't need to obtain any more knowledge because he has perfect knowledge of everything. That's the one who you should truly be researching. Anywho, that's just my thoughts and my opinions on the situation. You let me know what you think. All right. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.